prior to dismissing for lunch, the court gave you some instructions that you should not discuss the case. Did anybody violate those instructions? No one has raised their hand, and I apologize. Lunch obviously took longer than I had told you. It was very simply time that we used, the parties and the court used, to work on some additional issues that needed to be resolved. So in order for my staff to have a decent time for lunch, things got pushed back a little bit, but we'll see if we can get back on track. Attorney Will.
The state calls David Lang.
All right, Mr. Lang, come on up. You're going to come right around the court reporter to my right, your left. Please be careful. There is a ramp that leads up to the witness stand. When you get to the top, I want you to stand and raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. Position that microphone, speak directly into it. Waller.
Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
It's David Lang. Lang is spelled L-A-N-G.
And what's your occupation?
I'm an attorney.
Were you the attorney representing Crystal Rasch in her divorce?
I was.
Had that divorce been filed in around September of 2023?
It was.
Now, during the pendency of that matter, did you have regular communication with Crystal?
I did. We had a lot of communication.
And based on your interactions with Crystal, how would you describe her attitude towards those divorce proceedings?
She really wanted the divorce and to be done with it. She was moving on with her life. She felt that it would be better for her and for her children to be able to move on in that regard. So she was really anticipating and wanted to get done with the divorce.
Was she making efforts towards getting her own housing?
She was. The family had a house that Crystal was living in and had been residing in that she had owned. The house was expensive, or would have been too much for her to continue to pay for on what income that she had. So she had contacted government assistance, and this county was working with her and had found her a couple places, had found her a 2-bedroom place and a 1-bedroom place. So we had many discussions on whether she should take the 2-bedroom place or take the 1-bedroom place.
In those conversations and in your interactions with Crystal, did she appear optimistic about her future?
She was very optimistic and was very excited about having this new residence and not having to worry about all the repairs and everything that was happening with the house, and also the financial things with the house. She liked that this new assistance that she was going to get was nicer housing for her in that regards, and it would be easier for her to keep up and to clean and etc.
Now, through the pendency of your representation of her, I think I asked this, but did Crystal stay in regular contact with you?
She did. Besides the divorce, she also had a children's case going on that I was helping her with in that regards. Her children had been removed from her, and we are in the process of working with social services to try to have her children have regular contact with her. And that was going very well too, where she was having regular visits with her children. I don't think she ever missed a visit.
Did Crystal regularly contact you or your office through email?
She would contact us either through email or for phone. She had a very good relationship also with my secretary, Fran, that she would call on a regular basis.
And did you receive communication from her, either you or your office, in early June of 2024?
I did receive communication from her. I think the last time I spoke to her would have been around June 5th of that year by telephone, and I'd also had sent out an email to her at that point in time. And that's when we were talking about her housing and about her kids and going over her case. She had also been in an automobile accident too that she was going to be compensated for and receive some monies for in that regards.
So then after that communication in June 5th, you said, did her communication pattern with you change?
It changed. I never received more communication from her except for an email that I got from Zach's divorce attorney.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Attorney Lang, I am showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 85. Could you identify that?
Yes, this is the email I was just discussing, that it came from Eric Bandoline's, who was Mr. Rasch's attorney on June 17th, and it came to me.
And does that email include a forwarded message?
It did. A forwarded message that came from Crystal Rasch dated Wednesday, June 12, 2024 at 1:21 a.m. And it was, do you want me to read what it said?
Not yet.
Okay.
Is what's in front of you a true and accurate representation of that email that you received?
It is.
I would move admission of Exhibit 85 and ask permission to publish.
Any objection?
No.
Will be received, can be published.
And we are, God willing, connected.
You're not connected. That's my test to see whether the machine is working. You know, when I started this, we had a blackboard. Didn't have to plug it in.
It's looking like a better and better option.
Then to preserve it, we took a Polaroid.
Just get it pulled up first. This computer doesn't work. Judge, can we just pull up the document camera?
Sure.
All right, sorry about that delay, but first of all, Attorney Lang, is what's displayed on the screen, is that the same as the document in front of you?
It is.
And so now directing your attention to the bottom area that says forwarded message, I want to go kind of line from line. So first of all, it says from Crystal Rasch. Is that an email address that you recognize to be used by Crystal Rasch?
I guess I didn't look at that aspect of it, but that's her email or not her email. I'm not sure. I don't think I ever went back to check.
And then underneath that it says date. Can you again read the date that at least according to the forwarded message, that was sent.
Yes, the forward message and the date says Wednesday, June 12, 2024 at 1:21 a.m.
And then at the to line, what can you tell us about that email address?
It lists it's to David J. Lang at Outlook.com. That is not my email address. My actual email address is David J. Lang Law at Outlook.com. So I never received this forwarded email.
But you had testified before that Crystal had stayed in contact with you regularly through your regular email, correct?
That is correct.
And so Crystal Rasch was aware of what your correct email address was, correct?
She was, very much so.
And then the body of that email, could you just read that?
Sure. The body states, "This is Crystal Rasch. This is my new email. I can't access my other email account anymore. My phone isn't working that good either. I'm letting you know you're fired for my divorce case. And for the case with Haley, you are fired. No excuses or guilt trips."
Had you received, outside of that email, any other email or contact from Crystal Rasch indicating that you were going to be fired from your representation of her?
No, not at all, and it would have been just the opposite. She was very happy with my representation, and I was doing a lot of the work and not charging her for in that regards, and was working with her pro bono for a lot of the stuff.
And in working with her, did Crystal seem committed to going forward with the divorce?
She was very committed, and she wanted a divorce, and she was looking forward to life after that. And the plan was to sell the house and to move on. She'd have a little bit of fun. She'd be able to see her children on a regular basis, and she was going to start over.
I have no further questions.
Cross.
Good afternoon, Attorney Lang.
Good afternoon.
Just a handful of questions for you. You said that, well, let me start that over. Did you know Ms. Rasch before she hired you to represent her in the divorce case?
Ms. Rasch originally came to my office, and I originally started with her on Haley's matter, which was a children's court case. It was a guardianship case that was also going to be a termination of parental rights case.
And when did that originate?
I'm not sure. It was before the divorce case, because what had happened is that the children's court services, in that regards, most of their case, and the reason they wanted to terminate her parental rights or go through a guardianship petition was because of the father, Zach's behavior and conduct in that regards with the children. And so we were attempting at that point in time even to delineate and felt that a divorce would also be best for her to separate herself from Zach so that she would be able to have more contact and more visit with her children. But to answer your question, sir, I really don't recall the specific dates of when I was retained for the divorce.
On direct examination, you agreed that the divorce was filed in September of 2023. Does that sound about right?
It does.
Okay. And so obviously Ms. Rasch disappeared in June of 2024, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So from the time that the divorce action was filed to the time that she disappeared, you'd agree that was about 9 months?
Correct.
Okay. I assume that you've represented a lot of clients in your career?
I have.
Okay. And you've been a lawyer for about 33 years, I understand?
36.
36 years. You would agree that when you represent clients, you may not always know everything about them?
Correct.
Okay. And so although Ms. Rasch may share certain aspects of her life with you, she certainly didn't share everything that was going on in her life with you.
No, She was very upfront. She called, I would say, 3-4 times a week. Would either talk with me or would talk with Fran.
Okay. Yours was a professional relationship, though?
Correct.
Okay. You didn't have a personal relationship with her preceding that case that you said you were appointed for regarding Haley?
No, I liked her.
Okay. In terms of, you had testified to the situation with her housing. You recall that?
Yes,
Okay, so she owned a house, right?
correct.
And through the process of the divorce, she was not going to be able to afford the payment on the house.
That's correct.
And
Right, the mortgage was in her name or the loan was in her name.
and you were aware that she wasn't working full-time.
Correct.
And so she wasn't going to be able to afford the house on her own.
That is correct.
And then you indicated that she applied for subsidized housing through the county,
Correct.
and you had a conversation with her about whether the two-bedroom option or the one-bedroom option was appropriate.
Correct.
Which one did she settle on?
She was going to settle on the one bedroom because it was cheaper.
And all during this same period of time, your testimony was that she was also dealing with the termination of parental rights matter.
That is correct.
And her goal was reunification?
Her goal was in that regards is that they was going to be either some sort of guardianship or a termination where she would continue to have visitation and visitation rights with the children.
At the point of your last conversation with her, and I think you said that occurred on June 5th?
Correct.
Okay. At that point, she was not going to voluntarily terminate her rights.
No, at that point in time, she hadn't agreed to voluntarily terminate her rights. We are still in the process of trying to work out the arrangements and what her visitation and contact with her children would look like.
Okay. You would agree that she was downsizing in terms of leaving a house and moving into a one-bedroom apartment?
She was, and she was going to have some equity from that house in that regards, which would also help, and that's why she felt that it was best for her to go into a one-bedroom. That way she could afford to be around and spend money on her children.
You would agree that a one-bedroom apartment is not a sufficient size to have 4 children reside in it?
Correct.
When you spoke with her on June 5th, let me backtrack a little bit. I believe it was your testimony that part of the reason for filing the divorce case was that it would put her in a better position to be reunified with her children.
That was one of the reasons, correct.
Okay. When you spoke with her on June 5th, did she tell you that she had plans that weekend to spend the weekend camping in the Dells with Mr. Rasch?
She did not talk about that. We talked mainly about her cases. She didn't tell me anything about going camping or spending time with Mr. Rasch.
Okay. During the course of the investigation that occurred after she disappeared, did you become aware that she was actually looking for a new lawyer?
The first time that I became aware of anything was when I got this letter or this email from Mr. Rasch's family court attorney. When I got that on June 17th, that came to me, and I didn't know what to make of it. As he stated in this Exhibit 2, he didn't know what to make of it.
Are you aware that on June 11th, 6 days after you last spoke with her, she was in Milwaukee trying to meet with a new family law attorney?
I don't know. I did not have any idea or any indication of that. And I should also remind you, not only did I had the divorce case with her, I had the children's court case with her that I was helping her on, and I also had an automobile accident with her.
Just one quick question. In regards to the automobile accident, that was an accident that Mr. Rasch was also a passenger in?
Correct.
Okay. No other questions.
Redirect.
Just a quick clarification on that automobile accident case. Had there been a prior attorney on that case?
There had been for both Mr. Rasch and Crystal, yes. It was Gruber's Law Office.
Okay, nothing else.
Question?
Nothing further.
All right, you can step down. Thank you very much. This witness be excused?
Yes.
All right, you are excused.